Hi and welcome to this week's episode of the Chelmsford Property Show. My name is Neil Baldock, one of the owners of Charles David Casson Estate Agents in Chelmsford. Just waiting for Matt to say something, he's on the camera today.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm the other owner of Charles David Casson in Chelmsford.
And so this week, with this week's episode, Chelmsford Property Show, you can follow us on Facebook, Charles David Casson Estates, or on Twitter at CDC_Chelmsford using the hashtag Chelmsford Property Show. And this week we just want to speak to you about the importance of property inspections on our rental properties. I've just been conducting a final checkout of a tenant who's lived at this property for the last 3 years. So there's lots of different things we look at when we're inspecting a property. The main thing is the level of cleanliness, how clean it's been left. We expect all our tenants, all our properties to be professionally cleaned before the tenant moves in, and then so the tenant would have it professionally cleaned before they leave. As you can see, this property has been nicely cleaned. There is a difference between cleaning and having it professionally cleaned. So we can see that in the kitchen, which we'll show you in a minute, it is nice and clean. The sink's been cleaned, the work surface has been cleaned, but there is evidence of cobwebs, things like that on the wall. So it's these little things that people miss, which really defines the difference between having a professional cleaner and a tenant cleaner. And the importance is, we want to give properties to people in a really good condition, so that they look after them in a good condition as well. So the next thing we check in the kitchen, so you can see it's all nicely clean. But what a lot of people forget to check is actually inside of the cupboards, and this tenant has left it in a nice clean condition, so that's great. But it is important to check all the cupboards, make sure people haven't left anything in the property, because you don't want to move the next tenant in and then find out there's all sorts in the cupboards. We also look at the ovens and the hobs. Have these been cleaned? We look inside the oven. We can see this has actually been cleaned to a good standard, so that's great. Importantly, if we're going to have, in fact, we're going to have a quick turnover on this property. We've got another tenant moving in a couple of days, but if we weren't going to have that, we'd be looking to switch off the appliances and make sure those doors were left open, because we don't want a smell coming from the fridge. And we just make sure washing machine doors are left open and the trays left open slightly, because again, we don't want a kind of a mouldy smell accumulating in the property. The other things we like to check is bathrooms. We've got a downstairs cloakroom here, and so we've just checked that sinks have been properly cleaned. And it might sound funny, but important to just lift up the toilet seats to make sure those have been cleaned. Because again, this one has been done quite nicely by the outgoing tenant, so that's great. But there will be just a little bit of cleaning required by a professional to make sure it's totally ready for the next tenant. So I hope that gives you some useful tips if you are managing your own rental properties. We've come round with this sort of 30-page document, which is the inventory for the property. That's the important thing of having one of these documents at the start of a tenancy. It clearly sets out the condition that you've given the property to the tenant in, and so therefore you can come back and you've actually got something to check against, which is fact and not just an opinion. So unless you've got anything else to add, Matt, no, that's it for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you got some useful tips out of it. And if there's anything that we can help you out with property-wise, or any advice we can give you, then just get in touch. As I say, if you can give us a share on Facebook, we'd really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you next week.